Welcome, Kennesaw Happenings. We are here live. I'm in my studio at Overture, and Lucas is in his place over in Kennesaw. We have a really cool topic today. We want to talk about, and I'm going to have Lucas introduce himself, 3 lessons when you go from, college to a career. You have lots of free time, not lots of free time, but you have free time. And then you go to a career where, man, it's like a fire hose. And I think where you are in your journey, I think our viewers could really benefit by what you have seen, lessons, tips, insights, whatever you want to call it, in that transition from college to career. So why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into those lessons. Thank you, Lucas.
So thank you, Pete, for having me over
Mhm.
once again. I know it's been a long time, but I'm
Hey,
happy
look,
to be
you've been
back.
busy. I mean, that's exactly what we're going to talk about.
It's
I
how
mean,
it
it's
is. But
go
I'm
ahead.
glad that I'm back. But I was born and raised in Spain, as you can see in the flag on the other side. Moved to the U.S. when I was 18
Mhm.
with an athletic scholarship for golf, and played 5 years of college golf, 3 years at West Georgia, and 2 years at Kennesaw State. Graduated from my college degree and my master's.
Mhm.
And then I decided that I didn't want to turn professional. So I joined the labor world, and I'm currently in the M&A and investment bank world.
Wow. I mean, that's like for our viewers to kind of put their heads around this. It's amazing that you leave, come over here to play a very competitive sport, and then you go 3 years, at West Georgia, 2 years at KSU, and so you get your master's, and now you're in the business world. Share with we want to cover the 3 lessons that you have seen and it's we're talking to the younger audience,
Mhm.
really, to understand when you get out of school, what is that like? So what have you found? What can you share with our viewers that they may be able to get some insights into?
The first one is that you gotta put yourself at a uncomfortable position. In my case, coming to the US was something uncomfortable. And then going forward, everything became easier. So you gotta always keep like an open minded of where life is taking you. Don't kind of like narrow down your vision.
Hmm.
Just be open to explore and kind of like let uh, socialize. That would be related to socialize, because
Hmm.
by getting to know people, you will know things that you perhaps will like, or things that I might not be interested. So by keeping that mindset and coming from someone who never knew what he wanted to do, like
Hmm.
I came to the US thinking that I would turn professional, and then after my sophomore years, or perhaps after my freshman year, I said, well, clearly it's not that we are far away from turning professional, but the lifestyle that requires being a professional is not for me. Therefore, perhaps I gotta find something else. So then, by start the social life, getting to know people, talk to members of the golf course, talk to people from the university, I found out things that perhaps might be interested for me. And from there, I just knew that whatever I would do, recently graduated, it would not affect my future. It would be just a transitionary period to until I found truly what I want to do. So happened that I found something that I like straight away. But that was never my intention. Perhaps I would have quit the job and find something else, but it just happened to be that way.
Yeah, I love just what you said, and just if I could kind of just kind of add to that, being uncomfortable is not a comfortable thing. I mean, it's kind of the obvious, but coming over here not knowing a thing about where you were going, to just keeping that open mind to, I know I want to pursue a sport that I'm really good at, because you obviously, you can't just come over here and be a weekend hacker. I mean, you have to be a good golfer to get West Georgia, KSU. So that path is, you perfected your talents over growing up, and then you come over here not knowing anything as far as the US. That's absolutely an incredible challenge in my mind. And I think what you said, mindset, having an open mindset of just coming over and learning, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but every day gets better. So, what would you say, like the second thing you have seen in the early transition from college to career?
The second one, and perhaps it's been very natural to me, but it's having a sport that you practice and that you try to get better. That doesn't mean that you gotta play it at a college level, but having a sport that you try to get better at it, it gives you discipline and it gives you a lot of qualities that eventually in the future people are looking for in a person. They might seem very natural, but with tendencies that there's in the world right now of laziness and people not willing to work and doing anything,
Mhm.
if you have some sort of discipline and willing to put some work into something, that's already demonstrating a lot to someone that is willing to hire someone young.
I mean, that like is so insightful. We were chatting a little bit before we went on the air. I was with a younger crowd at a meetup through a friend of mine, Jonathan, and this was an IT group. They were very like, they knew what they wanted. And I think what you said, discipline is everything. And if you develop the discipline through sports, there's nothing more competitive than golf, because you're all by yourself. I mean, it's not like you can, say, come on in, it's your turn to score, your turn to play. You're by yourself out on that golf course.
Mhm.
You have to have mental discipline, physical discipline, all the characteristics that, like, I think you just shared with our viewers, translates into a successful mindset for a career, because it takes discipline. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. What would
There
you
is
say? I want
there
to,
is and
that,
fun fact, there is here on my nightstand, there's a sticker with three words. I
uh-huh.
don't know if you can see it, but there's
Tell us.
discipline, hard work, and nice person.
Golly day, man, that is so good. Oh my gosh.
So
Oh,
I'm run by those three words, and I always have them on the nightstand table, and I
wow.
always take a look at it.
That, I mean, we could stop and we could just focus on those three words, because it says it all. You know, that just sums up discipline, hard work, and being
Hmm.
nice. I mean,
So the
that
the
is
fun
so
fact about
important. Would say that.
the fun fact about it is that I've been doing it for a while, like the
Mhm,
having the sticker next to my side table,
mhm.
but the quote or the words always been changing,
Right.
and through reading, through experience, through whatever it is, I feel like it was trying to find more accurate words. And there was this book called The Ideal Team Player that I have it here with me. And
Hmm.
after reading that book and after having some thoughts from experience, etc., I found out those three words would be the three that would rule my life.
Well, those are foundational words that you can you can take each word and probably do a master class on them because it is so important to grasp that kind of mindset. What would you say? Let's go to the first one, discipline. So how has that been used in your career, in your college to career? Give us an example of how you've had to embrace that mindset of discipline.
Well, I feel like discipline, the only thing that does to you is that demonstrates that you can do, that you are capable of doing something. And by having discipline with yourself, going into a job, it already gives you the mindset that you can do anything. So it doesn't matter what kind of job it is or what kind of thing it is, even if you don't like it, you are still able to get through it. After you will move on and you will find something else, but at least you have the mindset of like, well, I've been through this route where I can do anything with myself. Um, then therefore, whatever job comes to me, I will make sure that I make it right.
That I love it. Let's go on to hard work because I think that's relevant to the mindset. Like here in America, we have a lot of things at our fingertips. I mean, a lot of conveniences, a lot of things that really make life easier than other areas of the world.
Hmm.
What would you say? How did you develop that mindset of hard work? What shaped your mind in that discipline or that area?
Well, hard work is sometimes related to discipline. The fact that you show up every day, or the fact that you are doing something with discipline and repetitively, it develops hard work. But for me, it was basically don't waste time. There would be a lot of days and certain moments where I would just sit down and do nothing. And by trying to develop some sort of new, trying to develop a skill or trying to, you know, use that time to leverage something, I feel like that was kind of my hard work where it was going.
Yeah, I love that. I want you to speak to like a 10-year-old that's listening to this. And I love what you said about finding a sport that you can pour into and develop the hard work, the discipline, and even being the nice person. That I think that's so critical that you can pour into something because we have a lot of things we can do. So if you're a 10-year-old, let's go back to when you were developing that golf and you were pouring into your sport. What was it like? Did you, because I know you played soccer and I know you did some other things. At what point did you start really pouring into your one sport or your golf to kind of develop um, a confidence, just a general journey of that?
Hmm. So perhaps until I was 15, I played many sports. Golf, it's always been one of them, but
Hmm.
I played many sports until then, just because I never liked being indoors, being at home, being playing video games and all this stuff. I never liked it. So it was a way for me to socialize and to not even thinking of getting in shape, but to stay active and to have fun for me. And then I found out that there was possibility that I could go to a high performance high school, and perhaps golf was my best sport at the time, or the sport that I had more chances of getting into that school. So I was like, okay, let's go that way. And I spent the last 2 years of high school going to that high performance high school where everybody were athletes.
Hmm.
And somehow, somewhat, my game straight away it just increased like never seen before. Like I went from like shooting 80s most of the time to playing bad and shoot like couple over. Like it was insane. And I was like, well, I'm liking this. Let's keep the ball moving forward. And I heard about the opportunity of going to the US, and it's true that I did everything last minute, but somehow ended up working out and went from there.
Wow. I love it. I love it that you mentioned the word high performance because I think in anything we do, I'm not a person that likes to set mediocre stuff. I think if you're going to perform, why not perform at the highest level you can possibly perform? See what you're capable of achieving, but always stretching, and giving yourself those challenges. What did you, when you came over and all of a sudden you're in a new environment playing a competitive sport, what was your thoughts on that high performance? Did you have to work on that on a daily basis, or give us a little insight on what that means or what you can share with our viewers as it relates to high
So
performance?
the fun fact about it is that when I came to the US, I stopped doing the things the right way. That's sort of the reason why my turning professional never happened. And it was about, basically I felt that by doing the bare minimum I could be the best one on the team. And so, I started adopting the wrong mindsets coming into here. Also, the freedom that I had of doing whatever I wanted to.
Hmm.
Um, the the fact that I wasn't living with athletes. I've always lived with international students, completely random students.
Hmm.
So all those things brought me to a certain lifestyle that I didn't like it, or that didn't do very good to me. And by the time I realized that, I was already pretty down. It's already pretty bad. Like in 2018 I was pretty much like runner up in Spanish national championship and top 10 in some other Spanish national championship. And then same tournament following year I was dead last. And instead of going back to working hard and try to develop my good golf game again, I kept the life of partying and all that stuff, trying to forget what I was doing.
Hmm.
So I thought that going to Kennesaw, since it was a D1, and and there would be more challenges, that would help me to get back at it.
Hmm.
And and in a certain way it did, but it was still a long way. And currently I feel like I've been doing the things in the right way for perhaps since May or April last year.
Wow, there's about 10 lessons in what you just covered in my mind. I mean, because I think of the number one is our associations and our community does shape our mindset. And I think if we're around people that always will stretch us, we tend to respond. And I like that what you said is, you know, you're around international students that they didn't have that discipline of golf. They were just here and it was a different priority for them. But you are influenced by that because our distractions in life are real. I mean, everybody has them. I mean, it's not like you can say, I don't have distractions. And I think back to a gentleman that I like, Brendan Bouchard. He wrote the book High Performance Habits. I had to go look
Mhm.
over there and see. And so what he said was you always want to be aware of high performance people that will stretch you. So you don't have to settle for like what maybe the society is saying, hey, you don't have to work hard. You don't need the
Mhm.
discipline. You got everything. You know, that would be uncomfortable, you know, if you go for a high performance mindset. But not really. It is when you put yourself in with people that stretch you, yeah, it's incredible because I think we're all capable of doing more. But if we don't understand that or don't get familiar with that mindset, we'll settle for less. Like, and I think golf's a perfect example.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm comfortable being a 5 handicapper. I don't want to get any better because if I want to get better, maybe it's going to require hard work, discipline, things I'm not willing to give up to lower that handicap. So I think what you said, I mean, those three things, I want everybody to kind of put their head around that. Discipline, hard work, and nice person. I mean, dang, that's like crazy. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay.
For me, there's two ways of of doing this transition or doing this stuff,
Hmm.
and one it's becoming extremely self-disciplined and extremely self-improved, that it doesn't matter what your environment is, it doesn't affect you. By me being a social person, it was never an option because I always got very influenced by the others. So when I came to Kennesaw, by having a team atmosphere that would work hard, that brought me up and helped me to develop the discipline and the hard work again. But now I'm more on the trying to develop the other side of me, which is the self improvement and the self develop and the self hard work that on my own. Because then it would not matter what environment do I have, I would still be able to do it.
Wow. I love it. All right. I know you have a work schedule that's very busy, so I want to be respectful of your time in getting to the career that you're now in. So can you tell our viewers how could they, maybe an email address, tell how can people get a hold of you? Because I think your ability to influence a person that's making these decisions of the dedication, the hard work, the being nice is really something that can be coached. And I love that you brought those up today. So, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, my email is lucasgolfer one as number one at gmail.com. I feel like that's the best way to reach out to me since I'm trying to not get rid of social media, but kind of like establishing some barriers and keeping it just for friends, close friends, and stuff. So I
Mhm.
feel like email is the best way to contact me.
Awesome. We'll do this. Also, if you can pass this to people share this with people, especially in that younger, like if you're 15, 16 and you're trying to give your son, your daughter that mindset of what they need to think about, discipline, hard work, and being nice. I mean, that's like masterclass stuff. So I appreciate you really breaking it down like that, because I had no idea that that's what you were going to cover. So
There you
kudos to
go.
that. I
Always
love it.
surprising, Pete. Always
Yes,
surprising.
and I love it. I love it. If you had to say one thing from this podcast, if you had to share one thing, what would it be to our viewers?
Work hard on yourself. The rest, it will become much easier.
Dang. Hey, this is a baseball term, but you just knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Lucas. I appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
with us. And thank you. Anybody that has any questions, you can put it in the comments section, and feel free to have some questions. We're having Lucas back on a regular basis. So thank you, Lucas. Appreciate your
Thank
insight.
you. Thank you.
Okay.